tonight. There we go. So I am really, really excited to welcome Destiny to tonight's call. I'm really excited to hear you chat, Destiny, because I haven't made it out to the clinic yet. Oh, hang on, close this. Right. There we go. Yeah, I haven't been out to your clinic yet, but I just hear such wonderful things. And when I posted the flyer for today, somebody said, oh, I've been seeing Destiny for years. The whole family see her. She's incredible. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited to hear you talk tonight. Most of the people on the
call.
I'll
pay them later. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll give you their name after. But yeah, Destiny's been using our products for years, way before lockdown, I think. So is really passionate about natural health, the power of self-healing. Obviously, our capsules play a vital part in that when it comes to nutritional bases. But I'm fascinated to hear about what you do at your clinic, because it's chiropractor work with a major, major difference, isn't it? So tell us about you, Destiny, what you do, because you're a mum as well and you juggle everything. Tell us about you and how you got into all of this, first of all.
Yep, so I'm definitely a multitasker like many of you. There's many different sort of avenues of things that I've gotten. And today's just been one of those days where it's just been absolutely bananas. So I've literally just like come home from Weybridge, cooked dinner really quick, and then just landed in this chair, realizing that half of my my images have disappeared off of my PowerPoint, but I'll paint the picture for you. It'll be fine. I think you'll pretty much get it. And I think perhaps Carol Hunt can probably do this talk for me because she's actually been, and Lucinda, hi Lucinda, because they've been actually attending our practice, well, my husband's now, but you know, our practice for years and years and years and years and years as well. So but yeah, I first got into chiropractic when my mother and I were involved in a really horrendous car accident. I was about 6 years old, and it was, you know, before seat belts and before track, like I was in the States, so it wasn't really roundabouts. We had these intersection things that kind of, it was just a bit of guesswork. Whoever got there first, you had to kind of guess who was going next. And it was late at night, and we were in this little Isuzu car, and we were going to an aerobic session. So we had our leotards on and everything. So it was like in 1980 something, whatever. And we started going through this intersection, and a huge Cadillac just smashed into the side of us, and we flipped around in the car, hit heads together, smashed into the windscreen, did all these sort of things. It was like a lucky to be alive sort of thing. Ambulances came, and I was sent home with my grandparents, but my mum was sent to hospital for, in those days we didn't have MRIs, so she got sent for concussion and CT scans and stuff, only to find nothing. And but she really changed after that day. There was something that had shifted in her. She was quite a kind of happy woman, quite a sort of happy-go-lucky, and quite a sort of, I don't know, liked a little bit of fun and was quite playful. But after that incident, she just crashed and she was basically kind of suicidal. We were really worried about her for quite a long time. And as a young child, it's quite hard to sort of watch this, but she tried everything. She was doing a nursing degree at the time, and they basically threw everything at her. She had counseling for postnatal depression for a good 3 or 4 months. They couldn't, you know, not postnatal, post-traumatic stress. Sorry about that. I had that postnatal one, still need it, but you know, yeah, so PTSD from the accident, nothing. She'd had more CT scans, just nothing, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with her. So she ended up going to her mentor at the hospital saying, I'm not going to be able to complete my nursing schooling. I'm going to have to defer for a year and try and figure out what the heck is wrong with me. And her mentor said, why don't you go, I know it's a long shot and it sounds really weird and a bit kind of like esoteric, but why don't you try this friend of mine who's a chiropractor? And I didn't go with her to any of the appointments. We had no money, so she could really only go for a couple of appointments. But after, you know, a couple of weeks, she just suddenly was back to her normal self. And as a child, watching that transformation in front of my eyes, that just sowed this seed of, oh, I've got to be able to do that. That's absolutely amazing. And so my whole life, I've really kind of geared up. I've been one of these lucky people who've known what I wanted to do right from a very, very early age. And there's been tribulations, because then myself had some repercussions from the accident as well. And I started having all these drop attacks, and but we couldn't afford any chiropractic care. So we just kind of got on with it. And then I went to chiropractic college without ever having a chiropractic adjustment, not really knowing what it was, not knowing what they did, but just knew I had to be there. So I had my first chiropractic adjustment within the first kind of couple of weeks of the first term. And, just everything settled, the headaches, the drop attacks, everything that was, going on. So I knew I was in the right place then. And so I continued my studies and I qualified in 95. And then I started working for other chiropractors and as an associate, and I just didn't feel, there was always something kind of a little bit missing, like the way they did things wouldn't be the way I wanted to do things. And I got to a point where, I got a little bit disillusioned, because I was seeing results, but I wasn't seeing these miracles that, that had happened to me and my mum. So, and it was amazing, but there came a point where I thought, things have got to really change here, because I'm not sure if I'm now doing the right thing. And so I started doing a lot of NLP courses and hypnosis, and I got really, really interested in psychoneuroimmunology, which is the power of the mind to heal the body. And I got just like obsessed with that, because a lot of things changed for me once I started changing kind of, my neural pathways and things. So I was going to actually close my chiropractic doors and just do, NLP and hypnosis from a kind of a health perspective. Just sort of, I'd seen sort of spontaneous remission happening and all that kind of stuff. So it just really floated my boat, and it was more connected to what I'd seen with the chiropractic. So I kind of did that, but about a week before I literally was going to close my doors, and you remember that, Carol, I was going to use the office, the little upstairs treatment roomy thing, and leave Nikolai downstairs in the other bit. So we'd actually done everything. We've moved the table out. We put my chair in there. I was ready to take on clients. I'd handed over all of my books to my husband. And then I went on to this, my friend had emailed and said, you got to come to this conference. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I was like, oh no, I'm done with all that chiropractic now. I'm doing this, this other thing. And he's like, no, I tell you what, you come, and if you don't like it, then it's in Barcelona. So at least you'll be in Barcelona kind of on the business. So I was like, haven't been to Barcelona. I think that might be quite nice. So I poodle over to this, and I'm sitting in the front of the audience with my arms crossed and my legs crossed, sort of nobody is going to change my mind. And a guy got up on stage and was just talking about the power of the healing of the body, and that the mind is connected to the brainstem, the spinal cord, the nervous system, and that energy that runs through us is actually incredibly healing, and we are the healers. So when the spine is in line, that is allowed to flow. So they kind of connected the NLP psychoneuroimmunology thing with chiropractic, because really chiropractic became just about like trying to put out the fires all the time, people coming in with pain, right? I'm going to try my best to get you out of this pain, but I knew there was more. So this kind of connected the dots, and that was probably about 8 or 9 years ago now. And so I started doing a lot more coaching with that sort of the vitalistic, we call it vitalistic mindset, or vitalistic philosophy of chiropractic. So then I got back to the office with my husband and was like, actually, I'm not going to give up chiropractic. And he's like, oh, here we go again. Oh my God, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it that way. And he was like, I can't cope with all of this. So eventually I decided to have some autonomy and start up my own practice, which I've now been in for 4 years in Westmoreling. So you have to kind of minus a couple of years, haven't you, at the moment? But for 4 years, I opened it 4 years ago, and I just haven't looked back. It's the best thing I've ever done, and I'm having an absolute blast in there. So, and seeing just incredible things. So It's just all about
Amazing.
the
So lovely
intention.
to marry up everything, that your personal journey, what you wanted to do, just to have it all come together like that, how the universe helped deliver it and everything. So I'm intrigued as to how it all works and things. Do you want to do your slides and sort of talk us through those, or
I can do the slides if you want to. There's not, I kind of, I'll show you. Can I share? How do I share my screen? I'm going to do a slideshow and share my screen. I'm going to try this. I'm not. If not, I just talk my head off.
Talk
It'll
us
be
through.
fine.
Yeah. Have you got the share screen button as a co-host on your Zoom?
I'm doing that one.
Oh, there we go.
Right.
There's the brain. It looks like a little squid.
It does look like a squid. Let me just see if I can put slideshow on.
And a Picasso.
Yeah, so this hasn't worked very well. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to do a slideshow here from the beginning. Here we go. How does that look? Has the squid gone now?
Squid's gone. We can see the next slide as well, but that's fine.
Can you?
Yeah, we can see both bits.
Oh, that's odd.
But that's okay.
I'm sharing the wrong screen. Right, you're just going to have to deal with that. Otherwise, I have to take that screen off.
No, don't worry. It's all good. It's all good in the hood.
Oh no, because there's actually a really okay, just don't look at the next slide.
Okay, you won't.
So first of all, I'd like everyone just to take a really, really deep breath in. And all the way out. And do it again, a deep breath in. And all the way out. And just think for a moment how amazing that breath is. All of the mechanisms that happen to make that breath possible. So something is being triggered. We had to think about that breath because I gave you an instruction to take a breath in. But actually, most of the time, this happens all by itself and we don't even have to think about it. So we have some kind of trigger to take a deep breath in or to take a breath in. We bring oxygen into our body and lots of other stuff too. That goes into our lungs. It goes into the tiny, tiny little pockets of our lungs and into this little fluid stuff called surfactant. Then that gets distributed into tiny little capillaries, which then move along, and then they come along and they basically oxygenate your system. It goes to the heart. The heart is constantly pumping and beating. You know, for me, all of this has been happening for 50 years, and I haven't even had to think one time about it. I mean, every now and then I've got kids, so I've had palpitations and, you know, I've hyperventilated, but actually, you know, I've gone to bed every night and I've trusted that my heart is going to keep beating, the lungs are going to keep working, my nervous system is going to keep triggering whatever it needed to do to keep all of this going. We are miracles. That is a miracle when you think about it. How amazing is that? We haven't even got to do anything. And there's all these other things that are going on, like, you know, I've got a spleen. What the hell is that doing all day? Like, I don't know. And we've got these parathyroid glands. What do they do? I don't know. I think there's loads of stuff going on within us that actually medicine doesn't even know. And when you think about all these processes that are constantly happening, I mean, right now we're all making a poo. And that's incredible. We're taking waste products, we're doing something with it. And it's, you know, this is just an incredible. So I want you all to just thank your body and thank your nervous system and thank your whole kind of vascular system and everything, and this incredible energy being that we are, because that, you know, just take this moment right now because it is absolutely amazing. Now, where it all begins and how this all started is the next slide, which you can already see, and that is the sperm and the egg come and find each other. So there's actually research that we're all females, I think, on this call. There's been research recently that I've just read that actually it's not the sperm that finds the egg, it's the egg that decides on the sperm. So it's a bit of feminism for us there. It's like they're going, no, not you, no, not you, yeah, you, yeah, you'll do, come on then. So actually, anyway, so that happens, they make contact, there's some sparks that fly, And what the sparks are, we don't know. You know, some people say it's an act of God. Some people say it's electricity. Some people say it's life force energy, which is what I like to say. You know, it's a kind of something happens in this magical thing that happens. So when these two cells connect and they start to divide and divide and divide after this little trigger, they divide and they divide, and a little nubbin gets formed. And this nubbin is called your brain. And the brain, there's actually a whole kind of cord that comes off as well called your notochord. And the spinal cord and the brain stem kind of then start to kind of come off of the brain. So the nervous system is the first thing that actually happens literally as the cells are starting to divide. So you've got your, excuse me, you've got your brain stem and you've got your spinal cord. This is part of your information superhighway. I've lost that slide. I don't know where that's happened, but anyway, so there's information constantly coming up and down the spinal cord to the brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for all of your cognitive decision making and all the balance and mechanisms and how you perceive the planet, also your moods and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, 80% of the information comes up to the brain. We think the brain is the master controller, but actually it's the rest of the body that is continually telling the brain where it is so that it can then make decisions. So a lot of the information is actually going from the body to the brain. So off of the spinal cord and the brainstem branches off loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of nerves, right? And all these nerves will then branch off and branch off and branch off, and they're supplying every single cell in your body. So all of them are supplying muscles, and I think even they get to a microscopic level that you can't even see, you know, they're like loads of hairs, but then they branch off so much that you can't actually see them with the naked eye. And there's billions and billions of them, and they're constantly controlling what every little single cell does. And so they will come along and all of them will supply stuff. So they supply your, this is another slide, sorry about my fabulous drawing. I won't be giving up my day job, don't worry. They might come off and branch off and they might supply a hand, they might supply a foot, and they might supply a body part. And often people come to see me because they've got some kind of pain in that body part. And that's an indicator that something's actually kind of going a bit awry there. What they also supply is our whole 5 senses, and maybe even 6 senses, some would say, but we forget about the taste, the smell, the tongue, the eyes, the hearing, and how we perceive the planet. So the brainstem is really super important for that. So most people will come and see me because they've got some kind of body part issue. I am getting more and more kind of with other stuff, but usually it will be because they've got some pain somewhere. But I am getting a lot more that are just saying, I just really want to look after myself and be a bit healthier generally, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But what we actually forget is all of these nerves supply all of this other stuff. So they're supplying every single organ in our body, our gut, our sex organs, our liver, all these things that we don't know we have, the little spleen things, a parotid gland, a mucous membrane of the mouth, all of these things that we just, you know, are at every level of our spine, and we just take all of this for granted. Now, what can happen is some of these vertebrae that you can see there can sometimes go a little bit higgledy-piggledy. And when they're a little bit higgledy-piggledy, some of these little nerves can get touched on. And if they get a bit touched on, one of two things can happen. Sometimes if they're touched on, it can get a little bit less active. So in chiropractic, if there's a twist in the vertebra, it puts pressure on a nerve root, and that nerve root is not actually doing its work. We call that a subluxation. So that means that the sub means under, lux means light, and ation means condition, I think. But it means that that light and that energy is not actually traveling through that nerve. So when the vertebra is a little bit wonky, that energy is not traveling through the nerve, and then you will get some kind of dysfunction or dis-ease in your system. And if it gets bad enough, so sometimes this may be symptom free, because if you're not getting that kind of, if that's getting dimmed, and you're not getting that kind of response and the feedback from the system, then you're not going to actually feel any symptoms or know anything is happening. So for example, cancer is like an asymptomatic thing. And, you know, sometimes in 60% of men over 50, the first, you know, sign of heart attack is death. Sometimes these can be absolutely symptom free, right? So but the other thing that can happen is if the vertebra gets a little bit off kilter, it can actually overcharge the nerve, which then starts sending signals of pain or signals of dysfunction to you. So when those nerves are overcharged, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be another nerve that is undercharged. So what we really want is the perfect spine. And I have an illustration of the perfect spine right here. I'll just keep him up a little while. But, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect spine. And actually, the spine can get a little bit twisted and a little bit irritated almost the day we're born. When we're born, actually, an awful lot of medical intervention usually has to happen. It doesn't always, but if it does, and they kind of, anyway, we won't get into that too much, but often it's a medical intervention. There's hospitals, all this kind of stuff. That's quite stressful in itself. But when the baby is coming out, the doctor will tend to pull and twist the head quite a lot, and they do use quite a lot of pressure, and that's putting a lot of twisting and pressure in through that upper part of the neck. And that's the most important part, because your brainstem just lives there. So the brainstem can get twisted and torsioned, so you can actually almost have subluxations the day you're born. And then other stuff starts to happen to us, and all throughout our life, all these kind of, you know, life just happens to us, and that can bring the spine off kilter a little bit. I don't know what this next one is for, but the main thing that gives us these little twists in the spine is stress. And we all have it, and we all kind of, you know, we should be out hunting and gathering, and we should be sort of sitting in our cave, but instead we're all sitting in front of a screen, or we're sitting out in traffic. I've just been in the worst traffic you could imagine. You know, we're doing all of these things and you know, and just trying to get through this game called life, really. So, you know, like Chloe, we're, you know, like all of you, we're just multitasking, and we're on kind of survival mode, really, aren't we? We're just trying to get through our days with this, you know, as little damage, you know, with damage limitation as much as possible, get everyone out unscathed. I had an extension that went on for nearly 7 years, Chloe. So, you know, it's like, and then it kind of, then we started on the practice as well of like, all anyway. So it's
my extension
like
goes on for 7 years, Destiny. I'm pitching a tent in your clinic.
it's horrendous. And I just think, you know, builders have a whole different, you know, they live in a whole different world to us as well. So anyway, yeah, so it's just, you know, you got kids, you got your partner, you got, you know, all these things that are happening all the time, grandkids. Even though you've got the most perfect grandkids, Carol, I know, it's still it's still quite, you know, it's a busy life we have. So we're trying to kind of, you know, just keep it all together. So, but what is stress? You know, this whole keeping it together, you know, we've got kind of 4 different main categories, because it's quite a weird word, isn't it? And stress can mean different things to different people. And sometimes there is something called good stress. But generally speaking, I think we can all agree that, you know, we have an awful lot of input into our system. And anyone who knows Chloe well is that we know that chemical stress is like a big deal. Really is a big deal. The crap that they're putting on our food, the crap that is in our, you know, in our whole ecosystem, in our water, you know, and how our food is produced, how the meat is produced. Some of that we can't control, but a lot of people on this planet are, you know, as the minute you're over 40, you're on every pharmaceutical known to man. They give you the statins, they give you the heart stuff, the blood pressure crap, they, you know, and even in my, you know, I'm not on anything, but I've had antibiotics. When I was younger, I had loads of tonsillitis before my neck got adjusted. So I was on loads of antibiotics and stuff. So we are kind of over, you know, prescribed, and also caffeine and alcohol and all these kind of stuff. So we're going to get onto that in a minute as well. But, and then physical stress. We'll get onto physical stress next. So that's kind of like even just being born and learning to walk. I mean, how many toddlers have you seen with like eggs on their head where they've just, oh, he fell over and hit his head on the coffee table. You know, is that jarring the neck? Is that making those vertebrae a little bit off kilter? Is that meaning that the brainstem is going to be a little bit not functioning, that those nerves are going to be a little bit not functioning? Is that, you know, creating disease later on down the line? It might not be immediate, but we don't know what happens if those nerves aren't functioning, you know, for a period of time. You fall off your bike, you know, your dad, you know, I think I'm not allowed to say that, your significant caregiver, you know, teaches you how to ride a bike, and you know, oh, you're so doing it, oh, you're not doing it. Damn. You know, now what have we got? We've got posture, we've got text neck, we're all sitting there on devices. I'm just as bad. I'm sitting there in front of Netflix with my Candy Crush, you know, flicking away on the screen. Your head weighs about the same as a bowling ball, and the neck is a very delicate structure, and if it's trying to keep that bowling ball head upright, that is going to lock off some of the brainstem, you know, flow in there, so that information superhighway from the body to the brain isn't going to be working adequately if you're, you know, sitting there with on your phone all day. And you look at the kids now, and it's just incredible. So hobbies as well. I make jewelry as a hobby, and that's a very kind of looking downy thing. Sitting too much, we're sitting at our PCs far too much. That puts a lot of pressure in through the lower back and through the spine. Lack of sleep. Sometimes we've got so much going on in our head that we're tossing and turning, and, you know, we can't actually seem to get in good positions and what have you, and that's just really stressy too. The chemical stress, I kind of went through that already. And we mustn't forget the perfumes and cosmetics, must we, Nicole? Mustn't have any perfumes or in our shampoos or talc in our eyeshadows and stuff. And equally cleaning products as well, you know, a lot of crap in the cleaning products, the perfumes with endocrine disruptors, you know, and a lot of this is out of our control because it will be in schools, hospitals, you know, shops we go to. It's just everywhere. You know, drugs, prescriptive and non-prescriptive. People think, you know, don't think twice about taking a couple of ibuprofen in the morning with their coffee. I mean, that's outrageous if you look at actually, you know, some of the studies about ibuprofen. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. So anyway, when you start going, you know, looking into all of it, it's a little bit depressing. This is going to get a bit better in a minute, I promise. Not so depressing. Emotional stress. I think, you know, the world at the moment, I actually created this is an older slideshow for a couple of years ago, so we're trying to just kind of get back to whatever the word normality means. I'm not really sure about that word, but we're kind of really trying to recalibrate now, aren't we, from what went on over the last couple of years. And you know, I think for me, there's been a sort of a few question marks about, you know, my future. And what the future is like for my children, and the amount of control. But we're always, you know, we're always going to be worried about family, work, time, money, all of that. You know, it is just kind of the way, and we're always going to be sitting in traffic too. So that will put an input into the nervous system. It just does. Spiritual stress, again, over the last couple of years. What is going on? I don't know. You're questioning your faith in things because you know, if you have a certain religion, then, you know, why would that God do this, and all that kind of stuff. And we've been kind of a little bit jittery, feelings of separation. Some of us have not been able to see their, you know, the family. My parents live in Thailand, haven't seen them we were due to go in March, haven't seen them now, my parents, for 4 years. You know, and it's just sort of things like, you know, they haven't seen their grandchildren for 4 years. So it's just kind of things that, you know, that will kind of then again, that inputs into your nervous system and into the energy of your system. And a kind of a lack of purpose, like, oh, what's it all about? I was just been sitting in my living room doing nothing. So what can we do? It's going to get nicer now, don't worry. So you probably already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you need to come to the chiropractor, obviously, but we can do things to improve our own physical health. You must exercise. You must. It's just that it should not be negotiable. It's a non-negotiable thing. You get up and you do at least 20 to 30 minutes of exercise every day. It doesn't matter what it is. You just got to do it. It's not even something that you can go, oh, I can't be asked today. You do it. Gentle stretching, you get off of that computer, you go and you do some stretches. This is self-care. This is something that you absolutely have to do if you want to keep your own longevity and your health. Reduce your screen time. Do not watch the news. It's just absolutely horrendous. Just live in your own little love bubble and just keep going in there. If you feel like you need to find somebody to help you with this, you get yourself a walking buddy, you find somebody who wants to do it with you. I know, Carol, that's not a problem with you. For you, you just like, you find any old, like, here, you come along, get on this boat with me and fall in the water and stuff. Get a massage, get yourself adjusted. This is really important. Get your friends and your family in on it too. Just get checked. Every little vertebra, I check every single one. If it's not in the right place, I move it to the right place so that your incredible information superhighway is working really, really well. When that is working, everything will fall into place. You'll feel so much better. Chemical health, eat more colors. Organic is a little bit of a tricky topic as well at the moment, because are they paying for the label organic? We don't know. I haven't got on the Juice Plus on there, but take your Juice Plus, definitely your omegas as well, because actually I feel so much better for taking those omegas. Loads more water. I'd say filter the water, because kind of I'm not sure about that either. Decrease your caffeine, decrease your alcohol. Do not smoke. I don't know anyone who smokes now, but if you smoke, stop it. Ask your GP to review any medication that you're on. Often people won't have had a review for a good few years. Our bodies change all the time. They adapt and they move and they change. And so whatever snapshot of a diagnosis you had 5 years ago, that may be totally different now. So you really need to, and I mean, ideally get off all medication if you can, but I know there are certain things that some of us absolutely need to be on, but you need to review this very regularly, because your body recalibrates constantly. You want natural cleaning products, you want natural skincare, tropic, woo, and you need to see your chiropractor, because actually, again, if the spine is in line, that information superhighway is your natural detoxing method as well, and it's your natural immune system. It's a natural detoxer, so keep that going. Your emotional health. So again, over the last couple of years, I've been very guilty of going, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that for you. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And really I've been doing things to the point of depletion. And actually the last couple of years have been kind of a gift to me, because I've gone, no, actually, I don't want to come for Christmas, because I'm absolutely you can't come to me for Christmas because I'm flipping exhausted. I don't want to be making a massive Christmas dinner while everyone's sitting around, and all that kind of stuff. So, it's okay to say no. The world isn't going to stop if you say no, and just say, look, that just isn't on my journey right now. I don't feel that's the right thing for me. If you say, I don't feel that's the right thing for me, that nobody can argue, because it's a feeling that you can't argue against. So some boundaries, delegate as much as you can. I've got teenagers, that's harder than you think, let me tell you. The delegation, you ask them 5,000 times, and by the time you might as well have done it yourself. Start doing more of what brings you joy. Again, you need to put that into your daily routine. So your daily exercise, do what brings you joy, whatever that might be, just some of it. Some self-care rituals, whatever, have a bath. I don't actually have any bathtubs in our extension anymore. We've just got walk-in showers, but just some skincare. So I've got loads of my tropic stuff, and sometimes I'll just take a good half an hour and just kind of really nourish my skin and, really look after my body and just some self-love and some self-care. Let go of what no longer serves you. If you get a gut feeling that you don't want to do something, just get rid of it. You'll feel so much better, even though you might feel some guilt at first. Just get that off. Essential oils are amazing as well. I use them for loads and loads of stuff. I diffuse them in the practice, but I also use them as a kind of, I hate the word medicinal, but kind of like other magical things. They can really sort of bring your mood up, and also ground you slightly too. Remember to breathe every now and then. Just stop everything and just take a deep breath in and all the way out, and come to the chiropractor. Because so many people, I'm going to keep saying it, Chloe, sorry. It's like shameless plugs, but so many people say that their mental health, and you just feel so much better, because again, you've got that information superhighway going on. It cannot fail you. This is your magic. So you want to keep that magic, moving as much as possible and being as energetic as possible. So the spiritual health, I've gone on to a spiritual pathway over the last sort of 4 years, something again. Whatever floats your boat, if you go to church, if you pray, if you meditate, if you just mindfulness, some journaling, some gratitude, blessings, send love, worship, whatever you believe in, just always be constantly kind of knowing that everything is going to be okay. Read, inspiring things, whether it's the Bible, whether it's, Dolores Cannon stuff, whether it's anything that's, whatever, really, really floats your boat. And again, take that time for yourself to read and reflect, and to be connected with like-minded people. Take walks in nature and be creative. Find something you love, even if you're not very good at it. It doesn't matter. You just need to be creating. If we're living into a sense of fear, we cannot create. And it's where the creations and where dreams come, is where that we can enhance our whole spiritual health. Chiropractic as well. The original chiropractors said, actually, chiropractic connects the man, the physical, to the man, the spiritual. So again, if we're opening up that pathway, we can be opening up more connections up in the top as well. And I don't know about you, Nicole, but that feels like it's a spiritual practice, doesn't it? When you come in, it feels like there's some, yeah. So chiropractic restores the physical, releases the chemical, calms the emotions, reconnects the spiritual by aligning the spine, freeing the nervous system, and allowing your innate intelligence, your own self-healing, to flow. And we're really good at bad backs too. So if you know of anyone, it's like shameless plug of all the stuff. If you need any more information about, I'm not the expert on Juice Plus, so that's Chloe. I'm not really the expert on Tropic, that's Nicole. I'm kind of not really expert on essential oils, but I kind of know what to do. But I am a chiropractic expert, so so if you do need some chiropractic care, do contact me, and fall in love with taking care of yourself. And that's me.
Oh, amazing. Right, we need to get your details into the chat and into the Facebook Live, because we're all saying we need to come and see you. I've already messaged you. I was like, I have literally, as you started talking, I was like, oh my God, yeah. So we need to chat and book in as soon as possible, please, for me and my son, Arthur. I just thought that was, it's right up my street. I thought it was fantastic. And it's just great. I know everybody said the same. Somebody said, do you do bulk orders? Because we're all coming.
It'd be lovely to see you. I've got a big open plan practice. I've got plenty, I've made my practice, it's open plan. And the reason for that is that I'm really never fully booked. I want to make it as easy as possible for people to look after themselves. So there's no real strict time. It's almost a walk-in practice. So if you wake up in the morning on a Tuesday or Thursday or whatever and go, I feel I need to get adjusted, you can literally just walk in once you're in the books and stuff. So I've tried to make it really easy. You just pop in, get adjusted, and go. And so it's not like you have to take half a day off work to get adjusted. It's it's a really easy way of doing it. So
wow, amazing. Can you go back to slide 26, the previous one, and just leave that up so people can jot down your website, your email, your Facebook, your Instagram, and your inside leg measurement?
yeah.
No,
that's that too, but
no, it's amazing.
It's short.
Oh no, I mean, I love it because the reason we were connected is through Francois, actually, who does Tropic. But it all comes together when you are trying to reduce your toxic load, which is something we all have to be thinking about daily, minute by minute almost. We need to make sure that what we're putting on our skin is clean, because the skin absorbs everything. We need to make sure what we feed our body is optimal, which is why obviously we all support the products and Juice Plus. But then if we're starting off kilter with just one blockage or an issue, we have to be dealing with that as well. It is that whole, I loved you talking about stress, emotional, chemical, physical, all these different stresses. And of course, if there's blockages, you can't be optimal. You have to have that whole, it was absolutely fascinating. I thought it was brilliant.
I think the key is resilience, because none of that stuff is really going to go away. We can try our absolute best. We can take our Juice Plus, we can eat the rainbow, we can, do everything we can for the gut health, we can clean our skin, we can do all of that. But if we haven't got the nervous system supplying our, the body adequately, then it kind of, it's almost a little bit, if we haven't got the nerve supply to the gut, but we're putting all this stuff in there to try it, it's not going to not work, but it's not going to be as effective. And we just need to be as resilient as possible as well.
Does that all apply with past trauma, like emotional traumas as well, like clearing, whether it was a toxic relationship or, bereavement and stuff? Does that have a similar effect when it comes to cancers and things? Because I guess emotional stress and
Yep, there's a book called The Body Keeps Score. Have you seen
no.
that at all? So I can't remember who it's by. It's by a foreign name that I can't think of. But I can drop you the link to that as well. But yeah, that all gets inputted into and funnily enough, my kids are both doing their exams, and I don't know about you, but I really feel like school is quite a toxic place. It's not really a great learning environment. And they were talking about a lot of, and Francoise and I have talked about it, a lot of our sort of traumatic stuff has kind of happened at school. And whereas my kids are going through it, a lot of it is coming up for me as well. So I'm pretty sure it all stays in there. And, we can get adjusted as much as possible. I actually do quite a lot I do some other energy work as well as chiropractic. So when I'm adjusting you, I'm actually listening to your whole kind of soul or your energy at the same time as well. So I can kind of feel what needs. And sometimes your body will tell me, no, I don't need any more trauma right now. So just leave me alone. And other times it's like, yeah, gently. And other times it's like, nah, let's get this out. So yeah, you can have all that stored in there too. And just to kind of release is going to, so a lot of people, after they've had, their first session of adjustments, they all have to go and cry for a couple of hours just because you're purging, that energy, or sleep, or, lots of stuff. Some people get, what I call a health expression, which is a cold. They'll get a cold or cold sores. And that is actually kind of your immune system recalibrating, and getting rid of, when you think about, I will shut up in a minute. If you think about, you eat a dodgy oyster, you're going to puke that right up. That's not you being sick. That's you being well. That's your body doing exactly what it needs to do. So when you get a cold, this is your body being amazing. It's like found some kind of pathogen and it's gone, no, mate, I'm going to smother you in mucus and get rid of you. So this is actually your body doing an amazing stuff. But we have this mindset of, no, I'm sick. No, I'm actually amazing. So sometimes after the adjustments, where if the nerves have not been, if they've been subluxated, so if the lights have been turned off for long enough, and then you go and wake those lights up and turn them back on again, it's like, oh, I've got to do some overdue housekeeping here, and I've got to clear out some crap. So then, so you can sometimes anyway, yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I call that like purging, and it happens similarly when people who have a higher toxic load start on the capsules and stuff, because the body upregulates and it's like, oh, but I'm going to the toilet all the time. It's like, well, that's good, get rid of it. Like your body's trying to clean itself up, and so no, that's amazing. Does anybody have any questions? There's comments on Facebook as well. Amazing, love it. I need to book in. Great presentation. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sure everyone's just been lapping it up. You're in a group of some real health enthusiasts and little nuts who just love all this stuff. Please, if you have questions, put them in the live chat, because it's obviously being uploaded in there, and Destiny will be able to get back to you. But we've got your details, Destiny. It's just fabulous. Thank you so much. I've learnt loads, and I will be coming to see you next week.
I look forward to it. You can always just ping me on Messenger or ping me on an email. And
already done it, darling. Just waiting for you to get back to me and book me in.
Okay. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And, even if you just want to come and visit the practice and see what happens, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Yeah. And, if you just want to chat, that's fine too.
So amazing. So you're in Westmoreland in Kent, aren't you? And just drop Destiny a message on Facebook and connect that way and say hi. And you could chat about coming in. I think that'd be amazing. But you've got a great name for a great business that you do, helping people.
Yeah, lucky.
Meant to be. Yeah. Destiny, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank
Really,
you so much for
really
having me.
inspiring. Yeah, we've learned a lot. That's amazing value. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for coming on and listening to such a great call. Appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much, everyone.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.